Hi guys, it's time for today's chapter of Shingaling. And I'm not even gonna lie, this is like the third time I've recorded this video because my dogs keep howling in the background. So if they howl again, you're just gonna have some like background noise. Sorry. Okay, this chapter is called How We Went to Jimena Chin's House. It was the first time we went to Jimena's house. Up until then, we'd always hung out at my house or Summer's apartment. Jimena lived in one of those luxury high-rises on the other side of the park. It was a doorman building, very different from the apartments that I was used to in North River Heights. Most of those are brownstones or small apartment buildings that are over 100 years old, but Jimena's apartment was ultra-modern. The elevator opened directly into the apartment. "Hey," said Jimena, waiting for us in the foyer. "Hey," we said. "Wow, this is beautiful," said Summer, looking around as she dropped her sleeping bag in the hallway. "Should we take our shoes off?" "Sure, thanks," said Jimena, taking our coats. "I can't believe it's snowing again." I dropped my sleeping bag next to Summer's and pulled off my Uggs. A woman I'd never seen before came in from the living room. "This is Louisa," said Jimena. "This is Summer, and that's Charlotte. Louisa's my babysitter." "Hi," we both said. Louisa smiled at us. "So nice meet you," she said in halting English. And then she said something in rapid-fire Spanish to Jimena, who answered by nodding and saying gracias. "You speak Spanish?" I said, astonished. We were following Jimena over to the kitchen counter. Jimena laughed. "You didn't know? Jimena's such a Spanish name. Do you want something to drink?" "I thought it was Chinese," I answered truthfully. "Water's great." "Me too," said Summer. "My dad's Chinese," she explained, filling 2 glasses full of water from the refrigerator door. "My mom's Spanish. From Madrid. That's where I was born." "Really?" I said. "That's so cool." She set the cups of water in front of us while Luisa brought over a tray full of snacks. "Muchas gracias," Summer said to Luisa. "Muchas gracias," I repeated in my terrible American accent. "You guys are so cute," said Jimena, dipping a carrot stick into a little tub of hummus. "So did you grow up in Madrid?" I asked. Besides dancing and horses and Les Mis, the thing that I love most in the world is traveling. Not that I had ever done any traveling yet. So far, we'd only gone to the Bahamas once, Florida, and Montreal. But my parents are always talking about taking us to Europe someday. And I plan on becoming a professional traveler after I'm done being a Broadway star. "No, I didn't grow up there," answered Jimena. "I mean, I spend summers there, except for last summer when I did the ballet intensive here in the city, but I didn't grow up there. My parents both work for the UN, so I kind of grew up all over the place." She took a bite of carrot stick. Crunch. "Rome for 2 years, and then before that we lived in Brussels. We lived in Dubai for a year when I was about 4, but I don't remember that at all." "Wow," said Summer. "That's so cool," I said. Jimena tapped on the glass she was drinking from with her carrot stick. "It's okay," she said, "but it can be kind of hard too, moving around. I'm always the new kid in school." "Oh, yeah," Summer said sympathetically. "I survived," Jimena answered sarcastically. "I'm not about to complain." She took another bite of her carrot stick. "So, do you know any other languages?" I asked. She held up 3.5 fingers as an answer since her mouth was full, and then after she swallowed, she elaborated. "English, because I always went to American schools, Spanish, Italian, and a little bit of Mandarin from my grandmother." "That's so cool," I answered. "You keep saying that's so cool," Jimena pointed out. "That's so uncool," I answered, which made her laugh. Louisa came over to Jimena and asked her something. "Louisa wants to know if you guys would like, what you guys would like for dinner," Jimena translated. Summer and I looked at each other. "Oh, anything is fine," Summer said very politely to Louisa. "Please don't go to any trouble." Louisa raised her eyebrows and smiled as Jimena translated. Then she reached over and pinched Summer's cheek affectionately. Okay, there's some Spanish words coming up, and I'm going to do my best, but I don't know exactly what I'm saying. "Que muchachita hermosa," she said, and then she looked at me. "Y esta se parece una Munaquita. And again, I'm sorry for all of you that speak Spanish. I know that was terrible. Jimena laughed. She says, "You're very pretty, Summer. And Charlotte, you look like a little doll." I looked at Luisa, who was smiling and nodding. "Aw," I said, "that's so nice." Then she walked away to start dinner for us. "My parents will be home about 8 p.m., Jimena said, waving for us to follow her. She showed us the rest of the apartment, which looked like something out of a magazine. Everything was white. The sofa, the rug. There was even a white ping pong table in the living room. It made me a little nervous about being klutzy, which I have known to be, and accidentally spilling something. We made our way down the hall to Jimena's room, which is probably the biggest bedroom I've ever seen. That wasn't a master bedroom. My bedroom, which I shared with Beatrix, was probably 1/4 the size of Jimena's bedroom. Summer walked into the middle of the room and made a slow spin as she took it all in. "Okay, this room is actually as big as my entire living room and kitchen combined," she said. "Oh, wow," I said, walking over to the floor-to-ceiling windows. "You can see the Empire State Building from here." "This is like the most beautiful apartment I've ever seen," said Summer, sitting down in Jimena's desk chair. "Thanks," Jimena said, nodding and looking around. She seemed a little embarrassed. "Yeah, I mean, we've only been here since the summer, so it doesn't quite feel like home yet to me, but..." She plopped down on the bed. Summer pulled a rolling chair up to the giant bulletin board in back of Jimena's desk, which was completely covered with tiny photos and pictures and quotes and sayings. "Oh, look! A Mr. Brown precept," she said, pointing to a cutout of Mr. Brown's September precept. "He's like my favorite teacher ever," answered Jimena. "Mine too," I said. "What a cute picture of you and Savannah," Summer said. I went over to see what she was pointing at. In between the dozens of little pictures of people from Jimena's life, most of whom we didn't recognize, were camera booth type photos of Jimena and Savannah, plus Jimena and Miles, Savannah and Henry, and Ellie and Amos. When I saw Ellie's picture up there, I have to admit, it was kind of strange for me. Like I saw her in a different light. She really did have this whole new life. "I have to get a picture of you two for my wall," Jimena said. "Oh, come on," said Summer in her cute, disapproving fairy way as she pointed to a picture on the board. "Jimena!" It took me a second to realize she hadn't said, "Oh, come on," in response to what Jimena had just said. "Oh, sorry," said Jimena, making a guilty face. At first, I didn't know what the problem was, since it was just our homeroom class picture. Then, I realized that over Augie's face was a tiny yellow post-it with a drawing of a sad face. Jimena pulled the post-it off the picture. "It was just Savannah and those guys fooling around," she said apologetically. "That's almost as bad as Julian's mom photoshopping the picture," Summer said. "It was from a long time ago. I forgot it was even there," said Jimena. I was so used to the dimple in her left cheek by now that I never confused when she was serious with when she was joking anymore. I would say her expression right now was definitely remorseful. "Look, the truth is I think Augie's amazing." "But you never talk to him," said Summer. "Just because I'm not comfortable around him doesn't mean I'm not amazed by him," explained Jimena. At that moment, we heard a knock on the open door. Luisa was holding a little boy in her arms who had obviously just woken up from a nap. He was probably 3 or 4 years old and looked exactly like Jimena, except for the fact that it was very obvious he had Down syndrome. "Hola, Eduardito," said Jimena, beaming. She held her arms out to her little brother, who Luisa deposited into her arms. "These are my friends, mi amigas. This is Charlotte, and that's Summer. Say hi. Di hola." She took Eduardito's hand and waved it at us, and we waved back. Eduardito, who had still not completely woken up, looked at us sleepily while Jimena planted kisses all over his face. And that's the end of the chapter. So we just learned an interesting detail about Jimena's life and how this is going to play out and perhaps give us some perspective on her character. All right, that's it for Shingaling. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.